is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today this will be like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, leave a rating and a brief written review. It will enable other excellent people just like you to be able to locate this podcast. Thanks for your support and pass the word along. As we are reflecting on what has been a fairly difficult year for everyone and looking to our future, I want to ask you this very important question. Do you want to last? Do you want to last a lifetime? Do you want to make it to the finish line? Unfortunately or fortunately, none of us exactly know when that's going to be. So I've come up with some things to not just important to start with, and a good start, is essential. Doing some checkups along the way and mid-course corrections we've talked about in the past, those are equally very important. But consistent, day in, day out, steady at the helm kind of leadership is absolutely essential. We've already looked previously on Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom at the fact that we all have setbacks, disappointments, maybe even something that we may call a failure, but there never is a failure totally if we learn something from it, if we've grown from it, if it's helped us to mature, to become more empathetic, and to be a much more reflectful and reflecting person. I just want to give you a handful of some things that I think are essential if you are going to be a leader, a person of influence who doesn't just have influence from today, but has influence all the way to the very end. The first thing I want you to do is to think about this. Instead of always talking about what your intentions are or were and what you in fact intend to do today, tomorrow, or somewhere out in the wild blue yonder, instead of focusing all of your effort and energy on intentions, I want you to focus on results. You need to predetermine, if you will, what are the results that you're looking for? What are the differences that you want to make and want to have happen in your life? Then find the actions, the activity. What is it that will move you forward? What will keep you steadily, incrementally, moment by moment, day by day, week, month, year in, year out, making the progress that is absolutely necessary and essential? You are not at the end of the day judged by your intentions. We'd have to pull our hearts out and look at them to see what it is that everybody intended. Everybody intended to do more than probably what they are doing. But the proof will be in what are your results. Oftentimes people believe at work they're being paid for what they know, or they're being paid for the kind of degrees they have, or they're being paid for their experiences. Yet it is your employer's desire that you are going to help them be able to achieve a particular result. So your boss, your leadership needs to be results oriented. You can tell a lot about a person as to whether all they talk about is what they intended to do. And when the stars align and the children leave home, or they lose weight, or they get a better chance, or they finish their degree, or this happens or that happens, and Jupiter aligns with Mars, then they're going to do something. When the fact of the matter is, put your head down, do something, take action, determine what actions are going to lead you the direction that you want to go, and keep working toward that. I would also say that I have discovered that the leaders who are really going to have a lasting impact are those who never stopped learning. They were always curious, always seeking how things work, how certain areas could be improved. Keep learning. Come up with a learning plan, a growth plan. A lot of folks are scared when they hear the word growth. Think of learning, and not they're afraid of hearing the word learning. Think of the word growth. You have to continually be seeking to be a person who is growing. And whether that's take a course periodically at a local college, online, study some videos, go to a webinar, or participate in a webinar, attend a seminar, there are obvious ways. Most disciplines in life have some continuing lifelong learning. That's a part of it to stay abreast and to stay fresh in whatever field you are involved in. And then just keep adding, and not just learning. I would like that to evolve into also develop skills. It's not just enough to take classes and to read books, as important as that is. But are there some skills that would help you in your life, help where you work, help your business, help your family? Always be on the lookout for skill development. Now, you nor I nor anyone else can do everything, but that's no excuse not to do something. So I would keep adding some skills. Now, you're going to run out of time. You can't become proficient at everything. Oftentimes, you just have to build the team where they can do those things. But for you, the important thing is a part of your growth is not just learning for learning's sake, but it's acquiring new skills or honing skills that you already possess to get better and better and better. The next I would say is surround yourself with people you respect and you enjoy and that really help stretch you. Now, oftentimes we will pour into others, we will mentor people, but oftentimes when you're building a team, build a person who will help your team be stronger together. That will help you and help the organization do the things that are absolutely essential to do. But if you know that someone has an integrity issue, someone is forever and always cutting corners, cheating. If they cheat others, it's just a matter of time when they will take advantage of you. So make sure you guide and guard your team with high integrity, trustworthy people. Guard the important relationships in your life. If you're married, guard that relationship with your spouse. If you have children, guard that relationship. Make sure you take the time and don't just use the quality versus quantity. There is no quality without some quantity. And so make sure you're spending time, not just doing what you want to do and what you think is important, but spending the time doing what they believe to be very, very important. Work on yourself, your inner life. Now, as you know, I'm a person of faith, and so therefore I believe you need to be continually working on your relationship with God. You should seek to be spiritually grounded. Now, if this is no interest in you, you can just listen for a few moments and we'll go beyond there. But we only are as strong on the outside as we are on the inside. And I believe that prayer and faith and being a woman and man of faith will make you better at whatever field of endeavor you are involved in. I think another thing that will make your leadership last is when you are able, as quickly as possible, to find areas where you can work from your strengths, working in areas that give you energy, give you a sense of purpose, make you feel as if you're making a contribution, and then you will say, wow, that is what I want to do. Have you ever heard anyone saying, boy, if they would let me and I could live, I'd do what I do for free? Now, there are hardly any of us that have enough resources that we can do the kinds of things that we do for free. But what they are really communicating is they really love what they're doing and they really, really think it's important. Now, every day I do not get to work for my strengths. Regardless of who you are, there are certain parts of your job description that is in an area where you're not as strong and not something that gives you a whole lot of energy, but you have to do it anyway. That is true of everyone. We don't get to work 8 hours a day, every day, solely on our strengths, but at least find something to do that will at least maximize the amount of time that you are able to work from your strengths area. Another item that I think many leaders unfortunately neglect, and they neglect it to their own just peril, is that maintain your health. Make sure you're exercising. Make sure you're strengthening your core, you're strengthening your muscles, you're stretching, you're walking, you're doing some good cardiovascular, and you will be okay. Because if your body breaks down and deteriorates, now when you're young, you can just keep going. But pay attention to what kind of fuel you're putting into your engine. Pay attention as to whether you are exercising and doing those things that you need to do, because your health will also be a major determinant in how far and how long you're able to go. Make sure that you hold yourself accountable. Oftentimes I discover that leaders feel that their main job is to hold everyone else accountable, and some people have this idea of leadership that I have reached these lofty heights, therefore the rules that apply to everyone else doesn't apply to me. I think you need to turn the pyramid over. My idea is the more high you go in the ranks, the more servant you need to be, and the more decisions that have already been made for you. So make sure you don't just try to think you can hold everyone else accountable and you can do as you please, and the things that you would not allow others to get away with, that you're going to be able to get away with them. It does not work that way. Hold yourself accountable. And you're also going to have to predetermine some ways to keep yourself motivated. It's really nearly impossible to motivate others. That motivation is an internal something that drives us. So whether that's reading positive material, listening to positive speakers, just find some way that periodically you build that in. You know what you're doing. Make sure you're always looking for a new challenge. Don't ever get to the point in life where you just settle. You think, this is it. I'm just going to go through the motions. This is all I ever ascribe to. This is all I really ever care to do. Keep looking for a new challenge. You won't have to look very far for the challenges. As a matter of fact, challenges oftentimes are like hound dogs. They will find you. So you can't take every challenge that comes along, but never be afraid to take on a challenge, because it will stretch you and force you to dream bigger than you're presently dreaming. Some of you think that you are really dreaming big. As a matter of fact, there was a time in your life when your dreams really scared you. They really frightened you. You were not quite sure you would be able to pull that off or accomplish it. Do you have any of those kinds of dreams today that keep stretching you and making you think you're going to be able to do bigger things? And remember, I've already talked about it. I'm just going to touch on it briefly. Failure isn't a person, it's an event. When it's over, it's over. When you do the autopsy on it, never leave without asking, what have I learned? What have I gained? How is this deepening me? How is this going to make me a better person? Because you have to do that. I have often said I've learned far more from my critics than I ever did from my friends. My friends love me and oftentimes don't have the heart to tell me what I really need to hear. That's why it's always great to have somebody around you on staff, if you're in that kind of a position, who's not beholden to you, who can kindly but directly take you behind a closed door and say, hey, have you really thought this through? What about this? Look at the other. You need to know that. You're going to have to, if you're going to last, you're going to have to learn how to manage your time. And all time management really is, at the end of the day, is self-management. Build the routines. Don't sit around wasting time, shooting the breeze with whoever happens to pass your way, but prioritize your time. Now, when you're prioritizing and learning time management, there obviously needs to be refreshing times, rest times, vacation times. Nothing wrong with television or doing something else, going to a sporting event. The problem becomes you can't do that forever. Make sure in the health area that you're getting the proper sleep and rest. I think that is absolutely essential. And make sure at the end of the day you do spend some time doing some things that you really enjoy. It's okay. It's not selfish. It's important. My leadership friend, wherever you're listening to today, no matter whether you're discouraged, encouraged, or somewhere in between, the fact of the matter is, I believe you are where you are right now for such a time as this. Ma'am, sir, you are there to make a difference. Put your chin up. Forget what's happened. Look to the future. Walk confidently ahead and be the best you that you can possibly be. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. Words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today for you this has been like a vitamin or a supplement for your mind and heart. And please, wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? Leave a rating and a brief written review. It is so helpful, and it'll enable other wonderful people just like you to be able to locate this podcast. Remember, my leadership friend, you're built to last, and you are doing better than you think you are. You really are. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying, have a great and blessed day.